Fucking hell.
And we are live. Good evening, one and all. Welcome to Orta No Better with me, your host, Jay. And we've got the pod dodger, Karl, and the football fortune cookie himself, Luke. How you doing, lads?
I'm all right, mate. Yeah, not too bad. Fucking better than I've been Monday and Tuesday this week. Now almost Wednesday.
Well, I don't know about that. If you can't tell the days of the week, man.
Still not really sure where he is he?
I've still not come round for the weekend, mate. I've had a very, very busy one, which was full of fun.
There you
Well,
go.
it's been a good one that we've been able to smile about this time, so I'm going to roll as an intro and we'll get into it a little bit.
Yay.
Hi, this is Don Matteo, and you are listening to the Orta No Better podcast. Let's do this.
You look like fucking Brolin, you're a Leeds hating bastard. Look like some sort of fucking weird floating head. No. He's a utensil player a bit, innit?
I mean, I feel a bit right, dickhead.
Nothing spectacular, really.
Well, we're not suffering from the curse this week, are we? So
Hey, no.
not this time. Not this time, lads. No one has to feel all right.
Not on my watch.
Not on my watch.
So we all went to the game, didn't we? Although some of us might not fully remember it.
I remember bits. I mean, I thought it was early kickoff, right? I thought I'd done the right thing here. I thought early kickoff. I'm going to pick my mate's kid up and take him because he don't get to go often. I'm going to be sensible, and it was the worst of the lot. I just felt because I've not got that much time in the pub before, I need to drink twice as fast.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just carnage, mate. Absolute carnage.
Jesus Christ. Well, I'll ask you what you thought of the game, Karl, because Luke probably won't remember.
Well, like I was just thinking there as well. It's like, wait, is it going to be one of them episodes where at least one of us hasn't seen the game? And it's fairly accurate there, like, because I don't know how much of the game Luke saw. He might have only watched the extended highlights for all we know, you know.
I was there, but the only bits I can remember is celebrating and getting on the seat and barking at the away contingent.
I heard there were a couple of inflatable Dalmatians milling about down there as well.
There was. I did see one, but I'd actually pre-ordered two and left them at home before I set off. So then, on my way up, I ordered a couple to my nan's as well, who lives in Wakefield. So I thought, I know, I'll take them. Anyway, when I pre-ordered them, I didn't realise that the delivery date was Halloween. So my nan just got two inflatable fucking Dalmatians delivered to her house on Halloween that she had no idea about, addressed to her as well.
Well, at least she could dress up as Cruella de Vil at night then.
Yeah.
That's it.
I mean, it were a nice change to see goals scored in first half. I thought it were nice to give it to them as well, seeing as they made us change ends before kickoff.
Did they?
Yeah, so we were going the other way for a change.
Right.
And they should have known. It's our end down cheese wedge that we don't score at.
But the thing is as well, do you think would they have been a bit, trying to head focus, going, we'll make them play that way in the first half because they always play the other way, like?
Maybe. I reckon they probably wanted to shoot to their own fans, to attack towards their own fans for the second half, because they probably thought they were going to have to dig in and make a big effort.
Possibly, yeah. Possibly.
Little did they know.
But they didn't. But they didn't do that. They didn't shoot towards their fans in the second half, did they?
No, you're right. Actually,
in the first half.
Yeah, you're right.
Maybe I was the pissed one here.
No. I don't know why. I don't know why. It's my brain, innit?
Yeah.
I'll revise that then. So maybe they wanted to shoot towards their own fans in the first half to get them going and G them up.
Hey,
let's say that
switcheroo. The whole
switcheroo.
Either way works. Yeah.
Either way works, mate.
Yeah. I like it.
That's how much it confused me seeing us shoot the other way. That's how much it's messed with my head.
Do you know what? There's not a lot to be said for which way you play, which way around. But I know. Obviously, we've got a preference, and if you believe in sort of in what are they called, superstitions and things like that, then I believe we've got a better record. All right, Jay. But I think we have got a better record scoring towards the north stand, if that's right. I don't know. Is that right or wrong? In the first half. Anyway, whichever way around it was, they clearly thought it was superstitious. They chucked us in the deep end, and we absolutely battered them that first half. I mean, I say I was bollocks. I was pissed. I do remember more than just celebrating and barking at Huddersfield fans. But look, we just simply too good, too classy. Everything we seemed to touch just turned to go for us that first half. The second half, not so much. I think we knew the game was won and we let us foot off the gas. Gutted that we conceded because my prediction was 4-0.
Yeah, that was a bit of a tough one. I was laughing at 3-0. I was going,
They were a shocker to concede.
Yeah.
Very soft.
Yeah, very soft. I like that's bread and butter for a goalkeeper. I don't know how he's absolutely banjacks that up, like, you know what I mean?
Do you think that's Mesley's fault?
Somehow?
Well, like he's let that spill. Like, I'm not.
I mean, it's coming at some rate of knots. That
I know, yeah, but that's a bread and butter save. Like, it's straight
into the body, into the chest. You expect him to catch, don't you?
You do, yeah.
So I couldn't possibly comment, but from what I saw, it looked like it was a fucking thunder bastard, and he'd done well to actually parry it in the first place.
Well, you can see in the replay he goes to try and catch it, and he doesn't. He doesn't get a hold of it. Like, so, I'd put that on Meslier there. Perhaps maybe the swerve of the ball or something like that maybe caught him out, but I don't know. I think that is just a goalkeeper's every day. Like,
maybe it was the rush. Maybe it was the rush from where I was. Was he obstructed? Could he not see it?
No, I think it was a fairly straightforward. Just it was hit straight at him in between two defenders. He could see it. Like, there was no, unless, like I said, there was a swerve on the ball. But like, he's got to save that. Like, he's got to gather that. You know.
You'd think so. What were you saying, Luke? Sorry.
I was just gonna say maybe there was loads of trapped air from all the Huddersfields trying to leave, and it just gushed to what. Did you see the video of all the Huddersfield fans leaving at half time and the Leeds fans in Billy's?
They were leaving before half time.
Yeah, just giving him it.
Yeah, the cops had to go. There was pints being fucking fired over a fence.
Oh, right, that's what was carrying on. Was that when they were all leaving? Was it?
Yeah. Half
people
time,
lobbing pints at them, swilling them.
Yeah, over the fence, like.
Where are we getting? So people in the south stand who hadn't actually gone in were just watching it on the tellies and that.
Yeah, or people who've gone down early or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that was it.
I mean, imagine wasting £6 on them, though. I won't.
No, not at all. Like, not at all. But like they complained so much about the price of the tickets, and then they only stayed for a half, so they may as well have paid full price. Like,
who knows? They might have actually got 2 goals then if they paid full price.
You never know. You never know. Maybe the players would have thought this is for the fans.
Yeah, football.
Maybe so. Yeah.
Maybe so. No, not a chance.
Cut price ticket for a cut price performance.
So come here, look, just about the game. Do you think our performance was really that good, or was it just that Huddersfield were absolutely shockingly bad? Like,
I think it's a mixture of both. I think they're really, really bad. I think they're crap. By far the worst team that's come to Ellen Road this season.
Worse than Wednesday.
Absolutely worse than Wednesday. At least Wednesday had a plan, and that was just to shut up shop and not let us score. You know, we had a chance against Wednesday. We probably should have still beaten them on another day. We probably would have done, but they look devoid of any idea and confidence. They just simply had nothing. I don't remember a moment in the game where I actually felt like we'd concede other than the goal they scored, which didn't feel like they were. We weren't under any extreme pressure at that part of the game. I would probably argue we controlled 98% of that game, where we always looked dominant. But they were absolutely rubbish. They were absolutely shite. Then I just thought. I don't know. There's so many crap teams in this league. They're the games we should be capitalising on and winning 4-0 and 4-1 and things like that.
Yeah.
It seems that's the first time this season, certainly at home, that we've actually put a team away like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
Who else
still
were the
unbeaten at
others we
home.
beat? Who did we beat 3-0 at home as well?
QP or was it Bristol or QPR?
No, it was neither of them. It was somebody who plays in a bit of red.
Where's Russ?
I can't remember.
Are you sure it wasn't Bristol? I now have to
It
check.
wasn't Bristol. No,
Yeah,
Bristol
no,
was
that's
2-1.
Right.
I can't remember. Anyway,
This is one of them really organised pods.
It was earlier on in the season. It was a pretty complete performance, and it was the only other home. I think we won 3-0. But it was the only other time I've felt that it was a full-blooded performance, other than the away games at Norwich and Ipswich and Millwall.
Oh, Watford.
They do play in a tiny bit of red. I said a tiny.
There is a little bit of red. There is a little bit
in
of
there.
red.
Sure. It's weird how my mind works, because realistically, I should have said they played in yellow and black, but the little bit of red came into my mind. I don't know why. I would say Watford and Watford are a better side than Huddersfield. I think had we not taken our foot off the gas at the weekend, it could have been 7.
Yeah.
Ish.
I was hoping for that.
Yeah, I was, but I also can understand the conservative energy. They were making the ball do the work and limiting them, which is all we had to do to grind the result out at the end of the day. We probably conserved quite a bit of energy doing that as well. And
that's what it's about, isn't it?
Yeah, and it looks as though we've come out the other side with the 3 potential injuries that we thought we had all been available for Friday night's game as well, which is quite nice.
It's good news for a change coming away from a press conference, isn't it?
The 3 that had knocks are going to play, are they?
Yeah, they're
available. The train from today.
Fantastic. Firpo's back training, isn't he?
He's been playing back 10 days.
10 days, yeah. He might pop up and who knows?
not to get off the match or anything, but do you think, does he dislodge Byram?
Nah,
I don't think he dislodges him.
Not at the moment.
I think he can offer a lot, though, and it's a very, very unpopular opinion that Junior Firpo will actually do all right in a Leeds shirt this season. But I just think he's got all the attributes to go into a team that plays very much on the front foot. Maybe not against Leicester, but the majority of games we play, he could add something to us. I mean, I wouldn't ever drop Byram, but as a backup and somebody to bring on if we're winning, and we've got a lot of options, or an additional option. He's nowhere near as good defensively as Sam Byram. Sam Byram, I think I'm yet to see him get beaten 1-on-1 this season. He's so good defending.
It's been a revelation.
We saw the best of Junior Firpo when Scubala was in charge that time, where he didn't have to necessarily defend too much because it wasn't in his job description for those particular games. And you saw how far forward he got. He got the goal against Scum as well, didn't he? So you kind of So you're looking at it. What you're saying is correct, Luke. Yeah, he could offer something further forward, perhaps. In an attacking sense rather than a defensive sense. I think the only
thing he struggles with is he's played his best football in the back 5 as a wing back. Now we're not going to play. We're never going to. Well, we might, but we're very rarely, if ever, going to play wing backs. I mean, I know we did it against Norwich for the last 10-15 minutes when Dan James was playing left wing back, but we're very rarely going to line up with 5 at the back because ultimately that's not how Farker plays his football. But I think he can offer a bit. I don't think he's going to get player of the season by any stretch, but I think there's a lot of Leeds fans which have rightfully written him off, but ultimately he was playing for Real Betis, and he got in. I think he got in the La Liga team of the season one season, and Barcelona snapped him up. There must be a player in there somewhere that we've just not managed to see.
And yet the same injury free for any long period of time either, has he?
No, and the same people that are now that were slagging him off, saying, "Oh well, they were a shit league," and now saying, "Oh yeah, Matt Rocker's doing great in second best league in the world."
Yeah,
don't want to hear that.
yeah. It's all to suit people's agendas in it and narratives, but I mean, it was only last week. Sorry, Jay, just really quickly. It was only last week after the defeat to Stoke. I was having to argue with people about Daniel Farker. They would say Daniel Farker out and things like that. And I think I shared something in the group the other day. Daniel Farke's start at Leeds United is equal to the season of Bielsa's the year we got promoted after this many games. It's identical in terms of goals scored, goals conceded, points won, wins, draws, all that sort of shit. It's identical. So those same people have actually got to take eat a bit of humble pie here and say, Daniel Farke, we could have almost written off August because we didn't know half of that squad was staying. Look, granted, Daniel Farke has got better players at his disposal. I'm not naive. I think that this squad is probably twice as good as the squad Bielsa had at that similar stage. I'm not in any way comparing them to be the style of football to be overly alike or anything like that. But when you're going to criticize and ultimately there was one fan called for him to be sacked after the Stoke defeat. I was arguing with. He called for him to be sacked. So I just tweeted him the other day. I didn't do it to be a dick. I even put in my reply to him not to be a dick, but look at these statistics. Like, do you know what I mean? You need to sort of actually sit back, take it in, and actually don't believe everything you read and don't believe everything anybody ever tells you, because them stats are incredible. Like for somebody's first season at a football club, don't give me that shit.
Well, like the thing is as well, like 25 points last year was enough for Burnley to be top.
Yeah,
you know, so you kind of have to look at it like it is a bit of a freak kind of thing that Leicester are doing at the minute. It's unheard of in the Championship that a team has gone this long without at least losing more than one game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And look, like I said last time I was on, I think they're going to have a wobble, and I think it'll, like Russ mentioned in the comments as well last time I was on, it'll be their African Nations Cup players that head off. What have they got? 4 or 5 going? How do you replace them in January? Especially like you're looking at players who are going to be coming in. They're not going to come in to just be mercenaries and take a wage. Like, they'll want some reassurances. So they're going to be stuck with players that potentially they don't need.
Yeah, there's going to be lots. There's going to be lots of swings and roundabouts this season, and there is. I mean, Ipswich have got a very, very. They've not got. I wouldn't say a thin squad, but in terms of quality, their first 11. My mate's he writes for their local paper and everything. He says if they pick up 1 or 2 key injuries, they will drop down that league faster than a lead balloon, and there's going to be other teams that aren't even really in contention that are just going to start flying up. We know what the Championship's about. We were there long enough, you know.
We do.
And I think given the first month we had and the uncertainty and the takeover and everything we've had to go through, change of manager, players staying and going, we're in a pretty good. I'm happy with the position we're in.
Yeah. I mean, we've kind of gone off into what I was going to talk about in the middle of the pod, really, about the season and stuff like that so far. But we'll come back to all this. There's a lot to unpack. We'll just go back to the game. And just on that second half, you're just saying about sort of taking the foot off the gas, Luke, and saving energy and stuff like that. Do you think the way that Stoke game went has made Farke more minded now to make those subs, even if it means a dire second half in that position?
Yeah,
I think he's going to try harder to save people.
I think if there's been any criticism I've had of Daniel Farke so far this season in the games that we've lost, because I can't criticize him in games we've won. What's the point in that? But in the games that we've lost, it probably has been around game management and his time in the substitutions and the substitutions he's made. But then on the flip side of that, I think to myself, look, can I really criticize a guy who decided to bring on 6 strikers against Norwich and go and win the game? Because ultimately it's a roll of a dice that we could have been spanked in that second half against Norwich. But we didn't. We came out winners. So whilst I've still got criticisms of particular performances, I still don't think that the squad was at it on a whole. I think if we'd have had a squad that all played at 80%, we'd have still won that game. But we had too many playing at 50 and 60 and 70% of their potential. So I think on the whole, I think the players let him down at Stoke more than his actual tactics. And I think it'd be unfair to criticise him then actually in the next breath praise him for his substitutions at Norwich and at the, you know.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I
agree with
like.
that. You can't
yeah.
hail him a genius for getting it all right at Norwich and be like, oh, get him out because he didn't get something right against sort of Stoke, or
Yeah.
he made subs early against Huddersfield and we played a bit shit second half when we were 4-1 up. Do you know what I mean? It didn't matter.
Can I put it to you, Luke? Because you've been singing Jayden Anthony's praises and you wanted him to start against Stoke, as did I, to be fair. Like, but do you think, reflecting on his performance against Stoke, do you think is he more of an impact sub at the moment, and he hasn't quite found his feet within the starting 11?
No, absolutely, and especially when you look at this competition in Cree and Dan James is an unbelievable start to the season. Do you know, it's difficult. I mean, it's very easy. Before the season started, I said quite publicly that I felt Dan James was going to play a massive part for us this year, and I was ridiculed, and people were quote tweeting me left, right, and centre. And I wish
That's
I'd have
why you're the
bookmarked him
football
now.
fortune cookie.
Yeah, but I also said the same about Pascal, in fairness, as well. But I've also got to own the Junior Firpo one in case that one don't come true. So, but no, look, I think for Jayden Anthony, it's difficult because the majority, all of that team, all that front line, have been together for a couple of seasons now. He made a real impact when he came on. Who did he score against? Was it the second one? Was it Bristol or somebody when Jayden Anthony came on? And he just looked clinical, and he looked like a completely different option to Dan James. Now, Dan James is going to give you something that no other winger in the league probably gives you, in that he's resilient. He won't stop running. He'll work back for his right back or his left back, depending which side he's playing. He's a different animal, and throw in the amount of assists, if you can call a couple of them that, where he's just spooned it and he's gone to somebody else. But you can't argue with the facts and figures that the results are better when Dan James is on the pitch. And I'm mentioning Dan James because he's probably the one of the two who you would obviously drop based on Cree's form for Jayden Anthony. Now, Jayden Anthony, as I say, he looked really, really handy in his debut when he scored the second for us, whoever it was against. But look, he's clearly a good option, and he's a better option than fucking Sinistera being injured. So I'm all for it.
On bench tonight, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Was it? Is it?
I think so. Yeah, can't even get a cup game.
Yeah, I'm not saying that he's in any way a bad option. I just think impact sub at the moment, just until he does find his feet, and like he's had a very, very big impact on games when he's come on. And we saw him start, and maybe it was the team, the players around him.
It's funny, really, because if we'd have had this discussion a few weeks or maybe even a month or so ago, when we sat, at the start of October, when we signed Jayden Anthony, it was the last day in September, wasn't it? Yeah, last day of September, so the first half. So we've had him a month now. We would have probably argued that Jayden Anthony would have been starting, and we would have used Dan James. And we've even had this conversation throughout the month. Dan James is an impact because of his pace and everything. Whereas now, I don't know. I don't see how you can, how those two wing spots. I mean, even Willie Nonto's not had a look in. He's looked poor in comparison to Cree and Dan James. So yeah, I think those two spots are pretty much nailed on. Those two are both fit. Dan James and Cree Somerville start left and right.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, there was a good example. Yeah, there was a good example of the counter-attacking style that we're going through at the moment, where we. Pirro played that ball into Jorginho, and then Somerville picked it up and ran. But you could see that James was on the outside, and there was a point at which he just absolutely turned on the afterburners, and he was gone. And I think it was for his second goal or his first goal. But he absolutely smoked your man, and he was just gone. It's just gone. Like, and you can't sacrifice that. Like, that's unreal.
Is there anyone in the league that could catch him at full pelt?
Who, Dan James?
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you remember the years? Oh, it might. Nah, I don't. I'm not even. Do you remember they used to race people? Do you remember Kyle Walker in the Premier League? I think it was Kyle Walker raced somebody over 100 meters. Can you remember when they did that? I think it was for charity or some shit ages ago. And they used to do it in rugby league. They used to have the fastest man in rugby league every year. They used to have the fastest player from every team race each other. Now they should do that for a bit of fun. I think in a championship they should do it. But apparently Paddy Bamford's deceptively quick. They all say when you hear him talk about quick players on these shorts that they do around the club.
Apparently so. deceptively quick to take a penalty. He's got no right taking.
Oh, we're over that.
So,
can I just?
Have you got any more you want to say on it, Carl?
Yeah, I just want to
game.
quickly mention Jamie Shackleton, who put in another good shift in a position that's not necessarily his favourite position. I think he always get a solid performance out of Shaq, and I just wanted to give him a shout out, to be fair.
Yeah, he didn't put a foot wrong for me.
No, again, it was against a terrible side, but
now this is a question for you.
That's sometimes where you can slip up. Probably
what's the question for me?
If Byron were to get injured now that Firpo's back, would you pick Firpo ahead of Shaq to go left back, or would you put Shaq there?
I'd leave Shaq where he was at right back.
Would you?
He's a solid little right back. He's quick as well. And I think that little slip up where Rodon had to cover him in behind, I think that was a one off. Like, you could see what he was trying to do, and it didn't happen for him. Like,
things happen. He doesn't typically do stuff like that. I will say, my mate Cooper, when he came on, appalling. Couldn't intercept like 3 passes that were played to him.
Are you back to the Cooper hating shit again? Are you?
Oh, I'm back on that. I'm back on that train.
Wow. Yeah. Well, to be fair, you're not wrong. Like, we did look a little bit weak at the back. I didn't like that they swapped Strike and Cooper around, and
I didn't either.
I think they should have left Strike on the left-hand side.
Yeah, we always tend to do that. We always seem to make way for Prince Cooper.
Here, let's start bashing him now. Come on.
No. Here, listen. I've been his biggest fan. We were a better team in the Premier League when he came back from injury and didn't ship as many goals that season. Season before last, I think it was. And look, he shouldn't be starting in our football team. I'm not gonna beat around the bush, but he adds a different dimension and something that probably not a lot of other footballers could give us, and certainly for the cost and the value he's worth now, we'd probably get a couple of $1 million worth for him. It's better just sitting him there on the bench week in, week out for that $2 million, using him as and when needed. But I wouldn't. When Rodon went off, I didn't like the fact we moved Pascal back to right centre back when he's been playing left centre back all season. He looks comfortable there. But Farke clearly sees that Strike's better with his right foot than Cooper is. I don't think Cooper has a right foot. I think he's just got one left one. He just hops everywhere.
The right one's just for standing.
That explains a lot.
Yeah.
Do you want to do a few comments there, Jay, and we'll move on to the next part?
I'm going to go through the predictions first, just because that'll only take a minute, and then I'll move on to comments.
Don't bother with them.
Come on, say
Orta no better predictions.
So, you seem really happy, Carl.
I am kind of happy.
What's all that about?
Well, you should read them out there now.
Not as happy as I'd be if we'd not considered that shit goal.
So, for the Hoods game against those dog botherers, we had the predictions last week. Mine was 2-1 to Leeds. The fans were taken from Renee, who went 2-0 Leeds. Luke said 4-0 Leeds and very nearly got it. Carl said 3-0 Leeds. So, I mean, he's over the moon. But he didn't get it right, but he got the winning margin. So he gets 3 points. The rest of us get 1. I don't have the table at hand because Gilly's gone to the arse end of nowhere. And
where is Gilly anyway? Just because I've not really kept up with the chat.
He's all in Scotland, isn't he?
He's in Scotland, somewhere around borders.
Scotland.
Yeah, he's buggered off and left us in lurch.
Just on a side note, West Ham are beating Arsenal 3-0.
Yeah, and
what?
Scum are losing.
I saw it at 1-0. Scum are beating Newcastle.
No, they're losing to Newcastle
2-0.
That's all right.
Yeah,
Everton are beating Burnley.
Jack Harrison, I think, got an assist as well.
He can fuck off.
He's doing all right there, isn't he? But he won't last. I'm confident of it because of what we saw with him.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Wow, Liverpool have conceded to Bournemouth. Fuck off.
Who scored?
No assist for Jack Harrison there.
No. Was it not Jack Harrison? Is he even playing, actually? I saw this cross coming from that side and just assumed it was him.
He is, yeah.
Justin Clivert. Didn't even know you were there.
At Bournemouth, yeah. Justin Clivert, Patrick's son.
Yeah.
Played at, I think, at Ajax. I think they signed him from Feyenoord, one of the Dutch sides.
Outrageous. That's going to sink my bet. Well, anyway.
That'll teach you to gamble.
It will, mate. It will.
Did Clivert go to Italy? Did he play in AC Milan?
He definitely.
I think he did play in Italy.
Mm.
Yeah, I can't remember where they signed him from. I'm just going to look because it's going to do my own head in then.
So
Roma. It was Roma.
If them Scouse fuckers ruin my bet, I'll not be happy.
Get off your phone, will you? Come on.
I know, Jay, you meant to be hosting a show here.
Yeah, you're hosting a pod here, man.
Checking the scores because we're talking about
a little bit of professionalism. Doesn't go straight.
There'll be none of that here, mate. There'll be none of that.
Like just a small smidgen.
I'm going to fire through some of these comments now. So silence. And then we'll get on to...
Back in the room. Nice to see you, Jay.
Hey.
Thanks, Luke. So we've got a comment from Lee Fryer, our favourite Andy's Man Club person. And he says, Ruta's character arc is up there with Darth Vader's. And he'll sneak us a 1-0 away win. Let's hope so. I hate going through a big list of these. It gets like crazy. Top Banana says, most Leicester podcasts predicting 2-2 draw. They're getting nervous. All Leeds, aren't we? MOT. Paul Brennan, hello, gentlemen. Hi, Paul. Hope you're well, mate. Friend of the pod. Kev Marston says, evening all. Bully Leeds says, seen Pod Dodger walking through Leeds City Centre earlier. You've been spotted.
Should have said hello.
Yeah, say hello next time.
What was he doing? Was he up to no good?
I was going home. Power walking out to my car.
Sure, that were quite a sight. Kev Marston says, best atmosphere I can remember at Elland Road for a long time in that first half. It was pretty decent, to be fair. Well, I think Smarty said on B&C that he didn't think it was great. But
really?
I think so.
Spells.
I might be imagining that, so, I'm sure he'll tell me if I am. But yeah, that's in my head. Skip says, who would you say has been our most crucial and effective player so far this season? Somerville, Ruta, Ampadu. James has to be in with a shout with his current stats. It's hard to pick between them, to be fair.
Good question. I'm going to go with crucial. I'm going to go with Somerville. Most effective. I'm going to go with Ampadu.
Okay.
Do you know what? That stick Mesley in goal. That's a good five-a-side team.
As long as no one shoots at his chest.
Yeah.
I think Roots has been the most important, sort of crucial player because everything creative seems to be coming from him at the moment.
Yeah, but everything solid seems to be coming from Ampadu.
Yeah, it's a good position when we're arguing about who's been our best player. Do you know what I mean? There's lots of good candidates. So yeah.
Skip says you should do a Graham Paul. Leicester won't have come up against an attack like ours this season. Going to be interesting. Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm hoping for, really, that we overwhelm them a little bit and that they're a bit like, what the fuck's this?
Well, I've go on. Sorry, Carl. I'll let you.
I saw someone put out a tweet earlier on about when we were flying under Marcelo and Fark and Norwich came to our place and beat us 3-0. And someone was like, well, look, just because they're flying doesn't necessarily mean that Far can't undo them either. Like, so.
Yeah, don't make them unbeatable.
Yeah, that's the thing. 100%.
Mark Wright, another regular. He says, the moment Ruta runs through both defenders and one of them is stood with his hand on his head was comical defending.
Yeah.
That was what we actually used for the thumbnail for B&C for that game. Smarty was like, no, we've got to have this on there. So I made us that little image. The guy, man, he's just like, it's like, what? It's like, I don't know if he's like upset with himself or he's just in awe, can't believe what he's seeing, but he's all confuddled, isn't he?
I think he just realised he's about to get rinsed online. That's what he realised.
It's that moment, isn't it, when you think that were my fault and you think, oh, shit.
Absolutely.
Friend of the pod, Russ Vernon, big up Russ, says referee for Friday's Dean Whitestone. He was the man in the middle for the 0-0 draw against Sheffield Wednesday at home earlier this season. Fantastic, because I thought he was absolute wank. So can't wait for that.
Yay.
That's the referee review on Orta Know Better.
Yeah.
Paul Brennan, he says it would have been nice to smash Huddersfield. It was a game of two halves. I think Daniel Farke was saving us for the Foxes away on Friday night, which will be a test to see where we are going. Absolutely.
I think you're spot on, Paul.
Kev says it'd be nice if we could get something on Friday night. There's no reason we shouldn't at least think we can get a point, if not all three. But on a side note, I'm fucking sick of international breaks. You and me both, mate. Yeah, I agree with that. There's no reason to go there in fear for me.
No, well, Farker said as such when he did his press conference today, didn't he? He said, look, we don't fear them, but we do respect them. And he said, we're Leeds United. That's it. Like, and I like that attitude, you know. He's not being arrogant or cocky or anything. He's showing them the respect that they rightly deserve because where they are, like, you know, but don't fear them.
Man.
Yeah,
they're flying.
Somebody fear them at all.
Somebody put a poll on Twitter earlier about is Friday must win, not lose, or doesn't matter. And I was like, well, it's none of them because all games matter. But if we lose, it's not going to shape our season because they're ultimately the best team in the league this year, and results have shown that. If we beat them, it could derail their season. But other than that, it's just another game. You know what I mean? It's not a must lose after fucking however many games this season. It's
exactly.
Still 30 plus games left. Like, I don't know where people are.
There's still 96 points to play for.
Yeah, if we do 2 points a game. Average 2 points a game between now and the end of the season. That's 93 or 96 points or something.
Yeah.
Like, you'd be unlucky not to go up on that.
You would. And Sheffield United lost 11 games when they went up. So,
yeah.
You know, anything can happen in this league. We were top at Christmas and looked unstoppable that season. Suddenly we fell apart. It happens. Shit happens. Yeah. It's a championship. It's unpredictable. I'll fire through these last few quickly. Kev says Leicester will have a wobble, but they'll only have a small one. If we want automatic promotion, it's Ipswich. We need to drop points. Still think we'll end up finishing third. Paul says, please, Dan James managed to score 2 class goals, along with Somerville, 4 good goals, and Jorginho Ruta is getting better and better each week. Passing skills sublime. Andy Aylaw says, Dan James earned his place in his team. Prove me wrong. That goes for a lot of people, mate. Yeah. Kev Marston, Bamford does far more for the team than people realise. Can't hit a barn door, but he will be brilliant as a sub on 70 minutes to drag defenders all over this season. Yeah,
I agree with that.
I agree with that, and it keeps defenders working and they don't get to rest. That's what I like about when you can bring Bamford on, but don't expect him to do anything.
And he's almost like a heavyweight
for us.
I mean, don't clip this because he's not anything like a heavyweight boxer. But you know when boxers use their weight and lean on people.
Yeah.
When they're tired.
When you make the other man carry your weight.
It's soul destroying. But when he comes on at 70 minutes and they're already knackered, these centre backs, and he's putting himself in the back of them and just been an annoying bastard, really.
Yeah.
Just been like a little wasp. That's going to be enough. He's not going to score. And look, we're still not going to forgive him for that penalty at Stoke and being so selfish and stuff. But it is a good option. He is a good option to have off the bench at this level, I tell you.
Yeah, definitely. Kevin Marston says, I love Coops and Bill, but you can tell now it's a changing of the guard. They're the bench, not the starters now. They still add value in the dressing room, though. Agree with that. And Allison, I think, in relation to Cooper, says he looked off the pace. Eastupper has some view of the play, to be fair. I always said that I like it up there from a view perspective. But it's just the atmosphere is flat in it.
Yeah. Do you know it doesn't help that either as well, because the south stand is so much lower than the upper east. The roof in the south stand just drowns out the noise because you can't hear it. It's I've set up in that in the east upper a couple of times and it's flat. But anyway, go on.
Scooby's just popped up there saying it's not just another game give over, it's a bleeding game of the season. Let's have it.
Yeah.
I mean, game of the season, as in the spectacle, but it doesn't define our season. It's not over if we don't win this game.
No, I don't think he means it like that. I think it's the game of the season. Like this is the game everyone wants to see. Like
it's the toughest fixture in our calendar year this season.
And do you know what, Luke? It's theirs as well.
I would argue them coming to Ellen Road will be tougher for them, but
I think so.
But sorry, like I just mean in general, not whether home or away. Like.
Pulled up on a technicality on this podcast, never.
I know.
Polls up, by the way.
Oh, good stuff.
Early player of the year shouts. Rutter's currently winning with 56% of the votes. Ampadu second, and then Somerville is in third. Dan James hasn't had one vote yet, which I'm quite surprised about given the start to his season.
He's still not he's not the glamour guy though, is he? It's those other players that the big signings that people are backing. That's why.
Yeah.
I mean, this middle bit of the pod, we just talk about whatever's sort of going on at the moment, and I just penciled in just to chat a bit about sort of the season and how are we feeling at this point. Because you mentioned that stat earlier, Luke. Like you can't be upset, surely. Like we've talked about these people who are going crazy asking for bloody Farker out. I mean, I don't get that at all. I couldn't be much happier unless obviously we were top. But given the start we had, I just think everything's going brilliantly. To be fair, I'm over the moon generally.
Yeah, same. I wanted us to be.
I was like, don't end it as same. Yeah.
I wanted us to be up there competing. I didn't expect any other team to be quite as good as Ipswich have been. To be fair, I expected Leicester to be up there.
No, I didn't.
Maybe not so far ahead on points at this stage, but yeah, I'm very, very happy with how it's gone. And this is probably roundabout where I expected it to be. I expected us to pick up a couple of losses against teams probably we wouldn't have expected to lose to. And I expected seeing some good performances. And we've probably seen, I mean, I would argue probably 5 or 6 full throttle performances this season already, which is nice to see from the games we've already had. So more than happy at this stage. And I keep banging this drum, but I just feel that we're only going to get better. These teams above us are probably at their peak, and they're probably going to get worse, if anything, in your Ipswich and your Leicester because they're AFCON and everything else.
Yeah, that's a good point. We're still growing. We're on the upward curve.
Yeah, we've got the upward trajectory, and I think we're getting better week after week, whereas I think a lot of these teams have, albeit at a good level, stagnated. Don't get me wrong, but they can't seem to buy a loss at the minute, either of them. But yeah, I just feel that we'll see even better performances as the season grows, and Friday night could be vital to Leicester and their title hopes, especially if Ipswich go above them. You know, this weekend, it could start to see the crumble.
Yeah, that would actually be quite a shock, wouldn't it, to see Ipswich take over them at the top of the table?
Yeah.
It feels like that's just the championship.
Ipswich can't go above them because Ipswich have got a game in hand. Sorry.
Oh, they have. Yes, they have.
They didn't play Rotherham, did they? But they would go. They would have the opportunity to go above them in the game in hand. Sorry.
And that's great because even if they don't, the pressure's on them. Then there's a bit of pressure on Ipswich.
Yeah.
So there's nothing really sort of pressuring them at the moment. They're just steady away. It's all going swimmingly. Like they got beat by us. They haven't derailed them. They've just picked up and carried on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing that's sort of impressed me about them, really. The fact they've just got on with it and gone back to winning again. The L really is for Leeds.
Is there a buyback clause in Leif Davis's contract or anything like?
No.
Should we get him off him straight away?
Flying, isn't
He's absolutely having it down that left-hand side for them, isn't he?
Yeah, he's coming to his own. And I mean, he got... It ties into what we've talked about before when we say about players playing men's football and going out on loan and stuff like that. He went and played in League One. He's developed way beyond what he would have done playing reserve football at Leeds. He probably wouldn't be as good as he is now had he stayed here.
Oh, fair.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah,
I truly believe that.
So, what about Leicester on Friday?
All right, okay. Well, I guess that section of the pod.
You had enough of that bit, have you, Carl?
I don't know. I'm just saying, like, it was just quiet. I just thought I'd fucking mention something or other. And
why don't you tell us how you feel about the season, Carl? In more than one word?
Exactly.
That'd be nice.
Well, I did. Like, I'm sitting here waiting to get a fucking word in, and I can't with you two. Absolute.
So you just pipe up and end it.
Yeah, well, if I'm not getting a word in, I just want to move on.
Go on, Carl. Floor is yours.
I quite like the season so far.
Cheers, Carl. On to Leicester. Joking.
So I probably deserve that. I'm happy enough with how it's going. Like, I think with having the chaos at the start and not knowing, go on, Lee, and not knowing what whether who we could play, who we couldn't play, who was going to be here from one day to the next, and to be in the position we're in at the minute, I'm more than happy, because I didn't think, going off how August and September went, that we'd be anywhere near where we're at. Genuinely didn't, and I didn't think Reuter was going to come as good as he did. Down with that sort of thing. So I'm thrilled with how it's going at the moment. Like, so long may it continue. And I think if we can, because there was talk of potential bids for Somerville and probably Reuter coming in January, I'd like, if we can just hold on to them and just plow on like we're going, I'd take that all day long.
Absolutely. I think it's I've waxed lyrical about this before, but I think it's like a bit of a miracle, really, that Farke has done what he's done. When you look at the start we had, Bielsa would have wanted his squad in place 6 weeks before the start of the season to turn him into what he wanted to get to that third place with those same stats.
Let's make no illusion, though. If Bielsa had this squad, we'd be fucking top by 30 points.
We wouldn't lose a game. We wouldn't lose a game if Bielsa had this squad.
I'm under no illusions. Look, then we compare them because they're both both are part of Leeds United history and the present. That's the only reason we're comparing them. It is. You look at the squad Bielsa had compared to this, and this squad, man, would have been horrible. It would have been fucking horrible under Bielsa. But you're quite right in what you say, Jay. Like, it's. We've got to take into account that the job is done walking in through the door. A lot of these people walking through the door, and it just doesn't click and doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly.
The players we've brought in as well, who we've managed. Farke walked straight in the door and told Willie Nonto and Sinister to train on their own. Our best two players.
Yeah,
because if they're not part of the plan, then they're not part of the plan.
Exactly.
That set the parameters for the season.
I like that he made it known straight away that he wasn't going to be tolerating any bullshit, didn't he?
Absolutely.
He wasn't going to be walked over by players. If you don't want to be here, you'll go. However, if we want you here, you're staying.
Didn't he do that? He did that to Todd Cantwell as well at Norwich, where
he did.
Cantwell was
you nearly slipped up there, didn't you, Carl?
Yeah. I nearly got us demonetized there, but he did it with him.
A bit like that who went to the scum.
But he did it with him, and he was one of his most important players at the time as well. Like, and it just shows the character of the man, that he's like, right, I'll call the shots here, and I'll just say, yeah, you're not going to train. I'll work around your absence.
It's the way that he does it. He's so calm and collected. He's not losing his shit really very often.
He don't go
in interviews and press conferences. Even the whole Joel Pirro thing, which Joel Pirro Rutter, who should start where. That was very much like Bielsa's Derby presentation for me. It felt very similar. How he said about, I'm in charge and this is why I do this, and no other reason. But this is what I get paid to do. There's 100,000 fans on social media that might not agree with me, but ultimately this is how I'm doing it, and it's fucking working.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
he's shown that he's got the skills and the credentials to be making his own decisions and to back questions on them away. If we were on a 5-game losing run or something, then fair enough. Start questioning stuff and moaning. And it's fair to ask the question if you want to know why something's been done. But he answered that pretty comprehensively, didn't he? And he made it clear he wouldn't talk about it again.
15
and there's no need to talk about it again after that.
15 minutes of an answer. You get and you don't get much clearer than that. Like.
Then let's be honest. There's going to be times this season when we are going to question Farke and some of the decisions he's made, because we're not going to go and win every game, and that's okay. It's fine. It's actually fine to question something or why he didn't take somebody off. But remember, that's all in hindsight. After we've lost a game, if it works like it did at Norwich when he took 6 strikers on the field and 6 forwards. Don't then be a hypocrite and then start questioning as to why he's done something, because it clearly worked one time. So if it just because it doesn't the other, that's fine.
Yeah. I had a guy behind me going mad about Farker at Stoke, saying he doesn't set up right for away games. And he was going mad about Pirro, saying, why have we signed him? He doesn't fit our system. And it's like, he scores 20 goals a season consistently. That's why we signed him.
I nearly chinned one of our own fans in the South Stand at Wednesday at home.
That's not like
honestly. I had to tell him to shut the fuck up. It was doing my head in. Like the most negative, just everything negative you could think of. Like, what are you doing in there? Stand him up and all this. I was like, he can't do anything else in there. He's got to try and win the ball. He was just trying to tell him to stand up, effectively stand off, I think, on this particular thing. And I had my little girl with me, and I was like, look,
it's probably a good job.
Yeah, no, it was. Yeah, it was. But I mean, I get why people get frustrated, but some people are genuinely just always frustrated, and I don't fully get. I don't get it. Where the negativity, and it's clearly not all Leeds generated, because when we win a game, they don't say anything. So they can't. I don't know. So a lot of people have a lot of hate for life. I think
it's true. Yeah, it's bizarre.
Yeah, I think a lot of it stems from the fact that, like, we're starting to hold the ball from Meslier to the defence before we start working it up the pitch a little bit quicker. Like, whereas we had with Bielsa, it was like, right, get the ball down, get it going again. We need to just keep moving forward, keep moving. Now it's right. We've got the ball. What's the mad rush just at the minute? Like, let's kind of work a little bit of space. And like, there's people around me that they're like, just get it forward. And you're like, we have the ball. Just chill the fuck out. Like,
I
chill out. Like, we have it.
You don't score with every possession, and we're not going to win every game. Once you recognise that and realise that, you will be much happier watching Leeds United.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah,
and it's like, all this like, oh, we need to beat Leicester and all this. We're going to lose more games this season, regardless of what happens to Leicester. We're not going to go from now to end of the season without losing more games. It's something you have to accept.
I like this realist, Jay. Maybe you shouldn't be optimistic, Jay, or what was it?
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah, positive, Jay.
Realist. Well, yeah, not be positive, Jay. Be realist, Jay.
Okay. Oh, I can do that.
You. I like this one. We don't argue.
I like this version of Jay. Where do we get him?
Makes life better. But yeah, I mean,
I'd have to choke slam him through tables in the people. Make him jump.
Make me drop my pint. Fucking arsehole. But yeah, I mean, overall, I think we're all happy, aren't we? And I think a lot of us would have been just hoping we'd be in and around the playoffs when the season was starting. So to be where we are, I think it's an achievement in itself.
I think hovering around the playoffs is probably was probably a good point for this part of the season based on the start we had. I think that would have been an acceptable area to be in, sort of around 6th, 7th position.
I reckon that's the target it's been given to.
I think we're exceeding expectation. I don't think he has. I think the expectation is to go up this year. I don't think we will. But I think the 49ers' belief is that we've got. Say? I don't think we will go up this year. I think it'll be next year.
Oh, yeah, I thought that's what you said.
Yeah, I don't think we will.
Oh dear.
One day I think we're finishing second. The next day I don't think we'll go up. So it flips. Depends what day you are.
Yeah, it's like the weather. You.
Yeah. So I just
golden inhospitable.
I think he's been targeted with being promoted this season, but I don't think the expectations will be that high if we don't get promoted, as long as we're there or thereabouts. I think we're exceeding them at the moment, and if things do continue, and as we said, we're expecting one of the two teams above us to collapse at some stage or have a bit of a stormy patch of form, then
they've got to do.
They've got to do, but we've got to then capitalise on that, Jade. It's no good them playing shit and then us going and losing at the weekend. Otherwise, there'll be teams around us that do capitalise on it, and that's how the championship works.
It is, yeah. Fair enough. I'm going to fire through some more of these comments, then we'll move on to the Leicester game to please Karl.
Do it.
We've gone on a little bit. Skip says, do we think Nonto goes in January if correct offer comes in, and what would be an acceptable offer? I think we'd probably let him go for what Everton offered before at this point, the way he's playing.
I was just going to say, just before we finish that last bit, Kinnear said that we did leave room for 2 loan signings in January.
Oh,
so I'm kind of thinking, do they have 2 players lined up that they couldn't finalize in the summer? And are those players, of they may clearly be of the standard, because that's a pretty bold prediction to go. Like, we've left 2 spaces for lone players specifically. Like,
That's the kind of forward planning we're not used to.
Yeah, that's called.
Whoever they are, we'll miss out on them to another club or something anyway.
Of course we will. Yeah. We'll go to Bournemouth because they'll be so desperate by Christmas. They'll be signing anyone they can.
Yeah.
Paul Brennan says, I think it's full house Friday night. Atmosphere should be electric. I reckon so. Leeds fans will be up for it. I'll be there shouting and bawling and falling downstairs or something.
I'll be watching from a pub in Cork.
I'll be watching from a pub in Galway.
You lads should meet up and cause some carnage.
It's miles away. It's not that small.
Oh, is it? Is it? Fair enough.
Ireland's not that small.
I never said it. Well, I don't know where anything is apart from.
Here's a question for you: Is Ireland wider than any point now? Because you've got obviously East Anglia too, down to Cornwall would be wider, but at any one area, is it wider?
Than
England?
No, I don't think so. No.
So if you put a line across Ireland,
well, maybe kind of more.
So if you're central.
Up towards kind of Yorkshire and from there over to the Humber.
How long would it take you to walk from one side of Ireland to the other? What about drive? What about drive?
About 2.5 hours.
So it depends on the roads and that as well. There's a lot of differentials we could go into here. We could be here all night.
We could.
Look, if we're going to veer off in another direction, at least let's make it culinary, because we're kind of consistent with that. All right?
Well, yeah, that's true.
Make it about cooking, like sieves and ladles.
Anyway. Jesus Christ. Anyway, Kev Marston says, we're doing brilliant. We're just very, very unfortunate with that first month with the shit houses that fucked off and how well the top 2 have started. It's a freak season. Absolutely is. Michael Brown, guys, do you think Farke is proven to be a better coach for Leeds than Bielsa, or is it too early to make that assessment? Far too early, mate. Far too early.
Yeah. One got us promoted after 16 years of pure tragedy. The other hasn't just yet.
It's like, to make a comparison between the two, from what Luke was saying about the squad differences and stuff, it's like Bielsa turned up to Formula 1 with a go-kart and won it. Bielsa, Farke turned up with a knackered Formula 1 car. Still a Formula 1 car.
It was mid-table for years, weren't we? The dancing around the playoffs under Monk, I suppose. But before that, I mean, Monk probably did quite well with that squad.
He did, to be fair.
But then Bielsa just was different gravy, wasn't it? Even the style and everything, it was so lovely. I miss it.
None of us know any geography, mate.
Newcastle 3. Newcastle are 3 up at Scum.
Fantastic. Who's taking over at comments here?
I haven't touched anything. It's fucking Carl.
It's that mad pod dodger. Right, I've lost where I am, Carl. Cheers. Andy Aylor says Farke did a great job considering the shit show before the season started. Kev Mars says poor Carl is going to be one of these people you see on the news one day that just snapped.
He's had some fucking stick on here as Carl, hasn't he?
He always seemed so normal.
He was such a nice boy. All his teachers and that, all his choir coaches from school.
That's it. Kev Marston again. He says Farke is the first one we've had that can coach since Bielsa. He can make players better, like Bielsa did. I agree with that totally.
I think that's a really good assessment, and it's worth noting actually how much Farke's improved the players we've already had. And I mean, there's one or two that have taken a step back, but I'm sure that's through no fault of Farke's. Probably the biggest of whom I would say Willie Nunto has been so quiet this season. I expected so much from him in this league.
Yeah, he has.
Yeah.
I know he's had his injuries and stuff, and obviously his game time's been managed because we've had better players playing in them positions. But when you look at the impact he had in the Premier League for us, he was our go-to every game.
He was, yeah. He was the game changer.
Yeah, we were expected to get a result if he played well. Do you know what I mean?
It's bizarre seeing him so quiet now and then buggering off down tunnel at the end of every game straight away. Like,
it's wouldn't even say with his mate Cree.
No,
fishy that one.
One to keep an eye on. Paul Brennan says team spirit's on a high and the lads playing with smiles on their faces. It's key we highlight Jorginho, Ruta, and some of the least two are key players for promotion. Totally agree with that one. Lee Fryer's back, and he says Farker got shit on by a full first team squad, and we are still challenging. He's flying, taking into account the amount of time he's put a squad together and implemented a style of play. Totally agree. And one final one here from 8563 Robbie, or just Robbie as we'll call him going forward. Guys, I'm thinking the top two is already done. Has to be a monumental collapse by one of them, whilst we can't afford any mistakes.
Robbie numbers. That's
It might be done. It might be done. But I'm not ready to give up yet. Not before Friday, anyway.
No,
I don't think it's done.
like,
I think it's far too early. It's a long old season, man. What we played 14 games.
I think so. Yeah, I think it's too.
It's
early,
far
so.
too early. Like,
But it's a big gap to make up.
It is a big gap, and as you said before, if one of them slips up, we're expecting then us as if we were expected to be in their position to capitalise on that. Now that hasn't been happening either, has it? You know, when we
should have beaten Birmingham. You know, should have beaten West Brom. Should have beaten bleeding Wednesday.
Yeah,
true. It's Everton winning 3-0.
Jesus,
that's depressing.
The Orta Geography podcast. We don't know a lot about it, a lot, do we? Really, to be fair,
we don't really. It's a wonder anybody bothers coming and listening, but we appreciate those that do. Right, we'll move on to Leicester then. Make Karl happy because we have dragged on a little. So we're going to the King Power. I think it's still called on Friday night, and I'll be going down. Hopefully, won't get delayed by the roadworks that are apparently happening, so they can go to hell. Do we see any major changes to the team, or do we think we'll be same again?
Not after Farker's said today that Rodon, Somerville, and Byram will all be available. If they're available, I think he plays his best team on Friday night, and there's no other way to do it.
Yeah,
and our best team currently available is that team that started at the weekend.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think he can afford to tinker with the team again.
Unless Archie Gray's fit.
We're going to say, does Gray come back?
Where do you put him? Right back?
Yeah.
No, he'd have to.
But I felt Shackleton played better than Gray has been there at the weekend.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, so do you take out Kamara then?
It'd be in for Kamara for me, but I thought Kamara did really well at the weekend.
Yeah, again,
I thought Kamara was brilliant at the weekend. Like, first half,
it'd be harsh. You feed that dog or whatever it wants.
I don't want feeding. He just wants some. He just wants some attention. Every time I look at him, he shuts up.
He's an old wise dog.
I mean, we often go through and we sort of pick our lineups, don't we? But as we've said, if nothing's sort of changed, then the lineup's probably going to stay as it was.
Here's a question then about how we set up, though. Do we set up the same way as we have done and play the same style week in, week out? Or do you think we might try and absorb a little bit more extra pressure because it's Leicester away?
I think we have to be prepared for being attacked a lot.
I think we set up exactly the same because because I think Leicester have to be the team to be seen on the front foot. They're at home. They're the team that have to come out and attack us. They're not like the way they play at the moment. I haven't watched an awful lot, but I've watched enough to understand that they like to build from the back. But once they get to a certain point in the pitch, then everything just turns into this, right, we're at this point now, we're not challenged, straightforward, and everything just goes in a straight line with runs going off the centre mids. So I think if we can keep hold of the space in behind where we're not letting Vardy get in there, or we're not letting the likes of that Dewsbury Hall get in there, then I think we'll be all right. Like, I think we just need to make sure that when we're doing it, we do it fucking well.
You can't worry about a man named after a building.
Dewsbury Hall.
Yeah, I'm not having Dewsbury Town Hall ruining us. No.
Right, Jay, I get you.
What, you're on about Wakefield Cathedral?
Well, he's pretty good. So,
one thing I would say to our benefit, Leicester haven't played anybody who transition quite like us. When I say transition, I don't necessarily mean counter attack. I just mean when we get the ball at our feet, we look to get toward their goal as quickly as possible, or in the attacking third. They won't have come up against that this season, or if they have, I don't know who or when. So, correct me if I'm wrong. Anybody who watches Leicester a lot more than I do, but that is where we are absolutely clinical in the transitions. We've got so much class and speed that I think we will
Those
cause
outballs
people.
that Ruta finds, man.
Yeah, and I think that sort of play could cause Harry Winks some issues. I think he's been having quite an easy time in there in the Championship. Plenty of time on the ball, not having to do too much defensively. But
I saw Joe earlier saying I have to hold my hands up on Harry Winks. I were wrong. I bet we're gutted saying that.
But yeah. So I think because he wanted to come up at this season, we might actually be able to expose him a little bit. Either that or we'll standing out having have a fucking corker of a game and we'll really struggle with him. But I either feel we've got enough, especially if we play that strongest 11 that we're expecting, to cause him some real issues and troubles. And the two centre backs, decent centre backs. But again, they can be exposed, both relatively slow and quite big. And I think with the right attitude and the right tactics, I think we can expose them as easily as we have done other teams this season.
Do you think having Ruter in the form he's in, and like we see, like I've noticed recently, even though he's playing up front in the formation that Fark wants, and Pirro is playing in the deeper role, I've seen Ruter drop a lot deeper than Pirro sometimes to start the play.
Yeah, now, he does.
Like, because that then leaves two players in a position that they need to worry about. So does their centre back start to come in field, and we're dragging one of them in there to look after either Pirro or Rutter when he makes it up the pitch,
and trying to confuse him? You mean like maybe with
kind of. Like, if we play like that, does that mean that they have to come out and not, eliminate that threat?
I think they're intelligent. I think they're intelligent enough. Or Harry Winks certainly is to understand that those two will be swapping, and he will just take the one. He'll play what's in front of him, and he'll play the one nearest to him. I mean, it has worked, and arguably the best football we've played, and the most in the best games is when those two have been really close together, and you can hardly tell which one's more advanced. And they've been playing off each other. You look at the goal he scored. Was it who did Pirro score against when it was goal of the month last month?
Millwall.
Oh. Was it Millwall? No, it wasn't.
He took it on the outside of the foot and then finished it with the other.
Yeah,
it was Millwall.
I remember the goal. Step over. Just don't remember who. I think it was Millwall.
Anyway, it might be Millwall. Yeah, it must have been Millwall. If everyone's telling me it's Millwall apart from me, but you just look at that interchanging and the way that's how we're going to cause them issues. That's playing away from each other. When you look at Sheff Wednesday, how Rutter was trying to force their defensive line back, so we had more possession in there because we expected to have more possession. But because they were playing flat fours or even more, they were playing flat 5 or 4, whichever way around. Pirro was having to come short to try and get the ball and make something happen, which meant he was leaving Rutter on his own and a little bit exposed, and it didn't work for us. And you look at all the games that we've struggled to score in, that's what's been our biggest issue. Is actually not defensively, is actually creatively because of the way those two have sort of drifted away from each other a little bit too much.
Yeah. And that's when people start criticising Pirro in it, because they're like, "Oh, where is he? What's he doing?" And they can't.
Rightfully so.
I get
that. He's scored. I mean, we expected him to be playing as a striker. Let's not kid ourselves. But when he's not scoring, he's not scoring, and that's what we brought him into the team to do. And that's what the expectation is of a Leeds fan, that he's going to score every game. Now, once you forget that out of your head and actually watch what he does do, you can actually see that he does bring a little bit something extra and something different, although not a natural 10 like your Pablo. In terms of what he's asked to do in this role for this team, it tends to work more often than not.
It's kind of like he wants him to start a move and then run up and rejoin it at the edge of the box, isn't it?
Yeah.
I just want to bring up a comment here. It's from Robbie Numbers. Our front four, that's his name now, Robbie Numbers. That's it. Like, our front four press will be vital, especially first 15. I don't know how much Robbie has watched of us, but we're not great in the first 20 minutes of games for the
Yeah, it's
most
weird,
part.
that.
I'm not. This isn't having a dig or anything, Robbie numbers, but like we haven't been great for the first 15, 20 minutes of most games recently. Like, and I think it's taken us a while to get into them. You know what? I missed that.
Sorry.
No, I bet you do, mate. I bet you do.
But yeah, so I think Robbie's right. If we can, assert ourselves in the first 15 minutes, then absolutely fantastic. But going on the last few games, we haven't necessarily been pretty good.
He said that's his point. So I think what he's trying to say is they need to be better this time in that first 15 minutes and make it count.
Sorry, Robbie, man.
But I would have taken it the way you did.
Yeah.
Without him correcting it. So
no, fair play, correcting me there. Nice one.
Just quickly, because we're dragging on a bit. Is there anybody that you would change by choice out of that side? Even
our side,
Farker will. Yeah.
No.
Would you choose to change anyone?
No.
Well, I wouldn't mind bringing Tony Bower in up front if he was available. But,
or Mark Viduka if he's
to be fair, Luke, his passport probably still says he is. He's only just turned 29 on his passport.
But no. I mean, I do trust Farker and his decisions. And look, even when he dropped Rodon, even though he was available after his ban, and left Cooper in on the back of beating Watford. It was actually 3-0. Cooper started that game and played that game, didn't he? So I understand his decision for doing that as well. There's a reason, and as I said before, the only people who disagreed with that decision was in hindsight because we got beat the game after by fucking whoever it was.
Yeah.
So yeah, I completely trust his decision, and I'm sure we'll see the best team by Farker's knowledge or whatever the word.
I think so.
Opinion by Farker's opinion will be the first.
That's the one, mate. That's the one. Kev's saying just there. I've learned this season if we've not stuck our chances away the first half, we'll probably get something in the second. And that is a good point. You don't feel like you're out of the game at any point. That's a bit Bielsa-esque, isn't it? You don't feel like the game's over, even at 2 down, exactly. As we've seen. I will move us on, grab the predictions for Leicester, and we will start to finish up. Here we go.
Orta no better predictions.
Have it again, just because. If anyone in the fans wants to give us a score prediction, I will let Karl pick that out.
Just go.
Who's taking these down, by the way, are you two? Who wants to write them down?
Not me.
I'll do it.
I guess you've been volunteered by default there, Karl.
That's
Bugsy,
right,
not me.
Bugsy, not me.
Oh, God,
right,
so...
Go on then, Jay. You go first.
Oh, I don't know. My gut's saying 2-2 Leeds. I hope that we win.
2-2 Leeds?
2-2 draw, sorry. That's how much I want us to win.
2-2 Leeds.
USA wins 1-1.
Fuck.
2-2 Leeds.
God.
Would that feel like a victory to you at a 2-2 draw away from home on a Friday night at
Leicester?
King Power. Did it used to be called Filbert Street?
It did.
No, the old ground was Filbert Street.
Old ground.
I nearly called it Filbert Street then. I bet it hasn't been that for 20 years.
It's not in the same
Probably,
place. Yeah. It wouldn't feel like a victory, but it would be a good result, I reckon. It would be away from home, getting a point against them. It doesn't close the gap, fair enough, but if we do that, then we beat them at our place. 4 points from 6 against them, I'd be happy with. So, yeah, I'd be happy with a 2-2, potentially.
I just want to say there, I'm going to pick Russ Fern because I am on exactly what Russ is on. That's what I'm going with.
Is it expensive?
So I was going to go 2-1 Leeds, but I do fancy us to be their biggest challenge this season. I also expect us to win, but I think both teams are going to score. I think it's going to be 3-2 Leeds.
I hope we win. I really do.
You think 3-2?
I think there'll be lots of goals in it, and I think they've only conceded 7 or 8 goals all season, so I'm expecting them to concede another 30% of that.
Or
40% of that.
They haven't played a front line like ours, so
exactly. Yeah, 3-2 Leeds. Fuck it. We broke all the records. Ipswich were the same when we played until we played them away and beat them. So fuck them.
I was actually going to go 3-2 Leeds as well. If I'm
You've
being
just said
perfectly
you were
honest.
going 2-1.
Nah, fuck it. I'm going to
Did
go
you?
3-2.
No, you got to
like-
take your first answer. Piss off.
I do not.
Stop copying me.
I never copy anybody, man. Up until last season, I didn't even give fucking
I've just
predictions,
said
so don't give me
3-2 Leeds
grief.
because you said
right.
2-1. I just said I was gonna go 2-1 Leeds, but actually, because I still, and then I've given a massive reason as to why I'm going 3-2, and then you just said, and actually, I think it's going to be 3-2 now. Piss off.
All right, I'll go 3-1 then.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I hope he's right now. Imagine if
you've
he's right. The
railroaded
stick I'm
him.
gonna get.
I know.
Imagine if it ends up 3-2 or 3-1 Leeds. The argument that's going to be on here next week.
Man.
I want to change mine now. I feel like we are going to win. You lads have got
Oh
me
no! Fuck
geared
you.
up. But I'll keep it. I'll stick with what I said.
Tough shit.
I do hope that we win, though. I feel like I don't think if we do it, it'll be a narrow one. I think if we do it, it'll be like a Crackers game where it ends up like 5-3 or something stupid, just because they've not conceded goals and stuff. These things tend to happen, don't they?
Mm.
Especially with us, we never do things the
BRB.
conventional
I just
way.
got to let the dog out. I think he needs a poo.
No worries, mate. We're nearly done anyway.
Yeah, we finish up anyway.
Do you have any Orta bitters for us, Carl, or are we all just happy as Larry?
Nah, I'm okay at the moment. The weekend has given me a reason to live this week. That's not a good. I'm joking, by the way. I'm fucking joking. Jesus Christ.
I could sort of have a little rant about Huddersfield fans leaving before half time, and but I feel sorry for him in all honesty.
Do you really want to waste your breath on them, lot? Like,
not really. I do feel sorry for him though, and it's like when they had that playoff final, they got absolutely shafted, didn't they, by the officials on those penalty calls. And Forest went up, and everything's been fucked for them since. It's like we're a real sliding doors moment. It finished them. It's great to see, but I do feel a little bit sorry for them.
You're saying it to me like I'm going to come and agree with you and just pity them.
I don't expect anything like that, man. I don't expect anything like that.
No.
Don't know whether Luke's going to make it back in time or anything, but have you got anything you want to announce or tell us or anything like that? Any news?
Oh yeah, we've got Andy's Man Club. I was going to say fixtures. It kind of is like fixtures in a way, really. Some meetup fixtures.
I was going to bring that up. I've cropped it into a little window, but I'll bring it up and you can run through it, Carl.
You gave me grief earlier on, and now you've just done this. Like, all right, fair
I
enough.
wouldn't do that to you, Matt.
You did. So yeah, as you can see there, Andy's Man Club November.
November bump.
Burnf. Yeah. Thanks in advance. No worries. 12th of November, Barber Club from 11 to 3 p.m. W2 Barbers, Easterly Road. Get your hair cut or just come and have a chat, and all proceeds go to Andy's Man Club. 24th of November is the pool snooker night, Northern Snooker in Kirkstall Road. Come for a few games of pool and chat. We'll have tables upstairs. Also, it'll be the American pool as well. I go there regularly. It's pretty good, to be fair.
It's good in there. It's decent.
Yeah,
I've been for years.
Oh man, I tell you what, my brother was in a charity shop and he found like a pool cue, man. It's absolutely banging.
Oh, cool.
But anyway, nerding it up there. On Saturday the 25th, a walk and talk with mental health mates, a peer support walking group at Roundhead Park, meeting for 11 a.m. outside the Lakeside Cafe. All our events are open to everybody, friends and family, partners, etc. So do come along. Now these are great. These are great things to go to. It's a good chance to talk to people that you don't normally talk to, and sometimes get a different bit of a perspective and understand a little bit about. There is people going through the same thing that you're potentially going through, and it's good to talk.
It certainly is, and it looks like Luke may be just returning just in time to say bye. I don't know what else.
Did the dog take a shit?
How did you know I was coming back?
I saw the door.
Through your door.
I saw the door open.
No,
we've not got you on the tracker. Don't worry.
And then also just one last thing from me. I'm still doing that comedy thing. I haven't backed out yet, not chickened out yet, so it's still happening. the Ultra stand-up comedy thing on the 12th of November in the Wardrobe. I think there might be a couple of tickets left. I have a link for my Just Giving page on my Twitter and on my Instagram and on my Facebook.
You social media whore.
I've literally just reactivated Facebook so I can ask for money.
You're everywhere.
So yeah, anything that you can spare is greatly appreciated. Even if you just give the post on Twitter a bit of a retweet, that'll be even brilliant as well. Get the word out there. And yeah, I'll try and make it easy to myself on the 12th.
He's going to absolutely smash it. No pressure on you, Karl.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Anything you want to say, Luke, before we wrap up?
Will it be given in evidence?
Yeah, well, it's live, so.
Absolutely not, then.
Fair enough. All right, well, cheers for joining me, you two, and cheers for everyone in the comments and the chat, as always. Cool. Give us a like and a subscribe. Keep coming back and watching us talk rubbish and try to entertain you as best we can. And we'll see you next time after the next game.
Absolutely.